Hey guys, I will now do a different kind of tutorial, which is more into the basics of map making, which I notice not everyone really knows what everything is. So if you want to start making maps, you have to click on menu, which you can find here. If you do menu, that's obviously map editor. So now you are an editor, and selector is a tool which you can use to drag around objects like yeah, I'll show you that later. Okay, so grounds is the first thing I'll have you. This wood grounds, ice, trampoline, and so on, water, and clouds. Which for I will show you every properties of all of them a bit, so you know what's going on. And okay, now I have all the grounds on here. Yeah, so that's all the grounds. Here you can find the holes. You have to place a mouse hole on the map and a cheese to validate it. So the mouse has to get the cheese and get back to the hole. So um, you can export it like this. And you can also place a different location for a shaman, which you do with the shaman spawn. Or if you want a mice to spawn somewhere else, so we want, for example, the shaman and the mice to spawn there. Yeah, next to here there's useless objects, mostly useless, but just make stuff look nice, like fire and some plants. You can just try around stuff with that. Next we have shaman objects, which is basically all the objects, if you're playing this game, all the objects shaman can spawn except the cannonballs, and now you get turning launchers, which is basically you can connect stuff with. Let's see, let's connect two balls again to each other with the launcher. So the red nail basically means stuck on the background, green is it can turn, yellow it can turn only like 2% or something, green right, it will turn around right, green left obviously turn around left, red is stuck to the background and turn, and that's basically it. So let's see what happens. Yeah, you can see this one is connected to the background, that ball is, oh damn, lava. The second thing is you have water here, you can jump in there, do whatever. Yeah, you can move it around with my oh yeah, you can also move around grounds with your keyboard. My dog is being a bitch right now, so let me open the door to leave her out. Go away. Okay, she's gone. Okay, so now yeah, and here's a trampoline, which you probably know by now. So okay, now map settings, gravity. No. Well, right now you see that I fall down pretty slowly. But if you want to have me like go down really fast, then you can increase the gravity. Like now you can see I'm already a lot heavier than before, and I fall really quickly. I can even make it 999 I think, and maybe fall through the ground. Like now I can't even do anything. It's like so yeah, don't do that. You also have wind, which you can add, and which is pretty obvious actually, but it just means there's a force to the location that way. So if this is positive, like now it's 5, then you go right. If it's negative, you go left. Yeah, pretty obvious. So okay, no, well, and the same goes for gravity. If you make it negative, you go up. So yeah, I got that taken care of, so let's make it normal again. Then you have soulmate. Soulmate means when there's another mouse in the map, he will have a string connected to you, and he will be able to pull you around, and he can pull you around again. So it's kind of bothersome, but also you have to use the other person in some maps. So Collision means is like if there's more mice in the room, you can touch them, so they are actually an object and you can't walk through them. So, and backgrounds are pretty obvious. You can just choose a background. Okay, so now let's see the item properties. So let's start off with this ground. You can see this is not marked, so it's not dynamic, so it's static, so it stands still all the time. Friction means how much force it pushes you back when you run, and gives you grip on grounds. Restitution is how hard you bounce, and rotation is just what angle it is. So now let's see what's dynamic. Dynamic, if it's dynamic now, it is not stuck on the background and it can fall. So if you can give it a mass, so if a mice can push it now, I think, quite easily. Yeah. But if it's high mass, like 9 something, I guess it will be impossible to push this thing off. Which, with the 1 mass, is like probably really simple, and there it goes. Bye. So that's one ground. Let's make it non-dynamic. As you can see here, this is ice, which is really slippery, and the friction is 0. And yeah, the rotation is default. So the friction is 0. That means you have no grip on it and no loss of speed. The same goes for bouncy ground, but now it has higher restitution, which means you can bounce on it. So the higher the restitution, the bigger you bounce. You can see that with this ground, because this one has 20 restitution, so that means by that logic, if you touch this, you will shoot up. Yeah, and you did. Oh man, annoying cough. So this is cloud ground. You can see it has the same, well, that's that default again. It has the same properties as normal ground, but it's not. You can see this by you're going through it, which is really handy because objects like this ball won't be able to go through it. So you can make a selector or whatever, you can filter people from stuff or make all kind of weird contraptions. Now here you have water ground, which you can see no functions at all. You can change it with coding, but it doesn't affect it at all. So basically what water does is, yeah, you can go inside, and if you press down you go down, and yeah. The only bad feature of it is if you get cheese, or if you have cheese on you, you sink like a brick. You're like heavy like hell now, for some reason. Oh well, French physics. Okay, so oh yeah, earth ground is the same as wood. Grass is the same as wood. Sand is a mixture between wood and ice, so it's kind of slippery, but also not totally slippery. Chocolate, for the other hand, is really is not slippery at all. It has high friction. That means it's very easy to yeah, it has a lot of backwards force. You can notice that, especially when you have the cheese. So let me put some cheese here. So yeah, now you're like stuck on the wall. But the other thing is, if you do that for a wall jumping, I don't know if you already know wall jumping. Probably you do watching this video. So the same goes for wall jumping. The higher the friction, like I told you, it was a backwards force, and now if you go down, there's a backwards force from the friction. So for chocolate, it's like so easy, but if you do it on normal ground, it's a lot less, but still reasonable. But if you try to do it on ice, yeah, there's no friction at all. And sand is still possible because it has 0.1. So, and earth and a trampoline also has no friction, and lava as well. You can change it, by the way, so you can get like ice and give it like 0.1 friction, and now it's probably just like sand. Oh no, I hit lava. But I rather have you people not making maps with different properties in the objects, cause people get confused. For example, if you have like sand here and you give that lava properties like restitution 20, and people like la 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 die, and they're like "Rah," and vote map no, so your map is gone, 40 cheese lost. So don't do that. Make it obvious. So you can make, for example, this higher, because everyone knows this is bouncy shit. So if it bounces, they won't be mad that it bounced a bit more than they expected. With trampoline, leave it mostly the same. You can do it around 5. 5 is probably the max. And then people will probably want lava rather. Earth and grass keep the same. Chocolate you can make a lot higher as well, doesn't really matter. Sand doesn't really matter. Water you can't do anything with. Ice, keep it slippery and unwall jumpable. Otherwise people ignore it to try not to wall jump it, and then some AFK dude jumps against it, notices that he can wall jump and wins. And which pisses off like everyone in the map, and then your map gets deleted because they're like, no, fuck this map. Okay. So now when you have made a map, so let me I'm not gonna export this shit because this is such a mess. You can validate the map. So that basically means you have to play your own map and see if you can win it. And when you did, so let me do that for now. Ah man, why you no spawn? No. Well, wait, cloud can't help that. So now I validated the map. This map has been validated. You can now return. So now I can pay 40 cheese to export this map, or I can export it as Tribe House, which I didn't even have to validate it for. This feature is copy map to clipboard, which means you control V or copy your map on your clipboard or whatever. I'll open Word to demonstrate it. So you copy the code. So this is the code of this map. So if I, for example, left that code and went back to map editor and I want this map to be loaded, I can do it this way, and then my map is back. But this is a shit map, so I'm not going to export this. If I do, then people probably be like really mad at me, like what the hell did you make? God's name, it doesn't even exist. Okay, so now let's go over some of the objects I told you but there are also different kind of objects like these, which are color custom, so you can change their color. We also have couches, which is actually just another piece of ground. So let me put all the grounds next to each other so you have more to see which you can touch. So these all can be touched. Let's see if there's more. No. So let's go there for now. So you can walk on. Oh damn! I didn't see that sand. So you can walk on a couch. You can walk on a small couch. You can walk on the table, on the chair, and the bed is slightly bouncy. It's like restitution is 1, because when you jump on it, you get the same height, and restitution is just like speed against it times the restitution negative blah blah blah. So it's basically a weak trampoline. Okay, so let's see what's more. Also you have backgrounds, which you can use. You can also overlay them to make pixel art or whatever. And for the rest, there's not really that much more to that. I told you all the backgrounds, the board. I think that's most for the basics. So really messy map, but I explained everything, I guess. You can change dynamic. Oh yeah, I forgot one thing. let's see. Okay, so let's make this ground dynamic and give mouse 1. So the first thing, let's clear this map so you have no mess. Let's make a new map so you have no mess, so you have all your attention towards what I'm pointing to. So here this is dynamic ground and you see it fall off. Yeah. So this is fixed rotation, which is you can make 1 or 0. 0 means default and 1 means that an object cannot turn anymore, so it can't move around itself. So if I change this back, you can see that it now falls and turns around. So this is really handy to make mechanics with, because it's a lot more stable and you can, it's, yeah, awesome. Now let's do linear damping, which is softening its fall. So any direction it goes, it will give a backwards force to it. So let's make this 20 and you can see that it's slowly falling now. I'm increasing it. So let's make this 9 and 9 so my mouse doesn't really mess everything up. So you can see it now falls slowly, and if you make it lower, then it will fall faster. Quite simple actually. Oh, I'm always using the wrong. Now you have angular damping, which is basically when you have non-fixed rotation and you make this 9 and 9, it turns around slower. See that? Like it now has like a problem turning around, and when it turned around it didn't turn anymore. And the other one, if I make this like 0, then you can see it will turn around a bit more afterwards, and now it doesn't, and when it's high it doesn't need to. Now we will do some other shit. If you press space on your keyboard, hold it and click on the screen, hold your mouse, and you can drag it around, which can better be showed I think with a background. You can see, and if you're like, oh, I want to go back to the original screen, you press the escape button on your keyboard. So now you're back to your screen. Also, you can press D to duplicate objects, so you can just press this, doesn't really matter. Now you see this ground is underneath this ground, but you want it to turn around, just decrease this property, which you can do by clicking on this minus sign. Or you can make it on foreground, but the only problem with foreground is that a mice, oh wait, did I make the right one? Foreground. The mice will show behind the thing, so you can see my head is not visible at the moment. It's just really ugly looking, I think. They should just make foregrounds and not for the mice and only for the objects, because you can make maps really nice with it, but if mice run against the wall it looks just stupid. Any more special features? If you press an object you can press delete, but you can also press delete on your keyboard, which I always do. And yeah, that's really handy. Now let's go back to, now there's also a different way to make maps. Like there's also some other features like night mode, which they removed from map editor. Those you don't want to use. Let me change the background back for a second. Now I changed the map to have to be longer. So if a mice spawns here and goes to the right, you can see the map will move around with me. So that code is in one of my other advanced maps, but you can also find it on the forums. So I think that was basically all the basics of map editor. So thank you for watching and goodbye.